What are demons? Part 14 of the Spirit, Soul, and Body series. Okay, we're going to look today in the next, and also into the next two lessons about demons. And we're going to find out in this lesson that demons are fallen angels. They're evil and unclean spirits. So a demon is a spirit, which is an angel, of course, we know is a spirit. Demons can influence or possess people. The work of demons has changed over time, and we're going to look today into the Old Testament times and start to look at the time of Jesus Christ and the apostles. And then in a future study, we'll look into the church age and Babylon. So that's the big picture of what we're going to talk about today. What are demons? Okay, first, very clearly, Revelation 12:7, it notes there was war in heaven. Michael, who was a type of Jesus Christ, and his angels, or messengers, fought against the dragon, which is a type of Satan, and the dragon fought and his angels. So we see that Christ and Satan both have angels, or messengers, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. A couple verses before that, in Revelation 12, we see again the same great red dragon, which is Satan, and his tail drew down the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And again, the stars of heaven are a symbol of angels, and we know that from various places in the Bible, Revelation 1, verse 16 and 20, for example. And also we see in Matthew 25:41 that hell itself, eternal hell, the destructive fire of eternal hell, is prepared for the devil and his angels. So we see that demons, and here they're translated as angels, are fallen angels. Okay, so angels are messengers. That's what the literal word angel means, is a messenger. The word gospel, for example, it's the same word, it's a very similar word as an angel, except it has an EU at the beginning, which means good. So the word gospel in the Greek literally means good message. So angels are ministering spirits, they're serving spirits, and that's what the good angels do, and again, they're a messenger. But demons bring a evil message. They're a messenger, but it's not good. It's evil. Okay, and we look at one verse here that demons are spirits. And again, when we look at demons in certain translations, like the King James version, in that version of the Bible, demons are translated devils in that version, but it's still the Greek word daemon, or demon. So when you see, if you're using King James or some of those older versions, and you see devils, it's the word demon in the Greek language. Matthew 8:16, when the evening was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, or demons, and he cast out the spirits with his word. So we see in this verse that the demons are spirit. They're similar to angels. Angels are spirit. They are spirit beings. So we see, if we examine all the verses in the Bible on demons, we say that also, besides being called a demon, they're also called evil spirits or unclean spirits. And we see that in Luke 8:2, for example, a certain woman which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils or demons. So we see that demons can be referred to as evil spirits. And the word in the Greek for evil, poneros, it means to actually do bad things. It's to hurt people. It's not to help people. It's to hurt people. It's to trip them up. It's to cause misery in their life. And here we saw Mary Magdalene was possessed by 7 demons. Switching over to unclean spirits, for example, in Luke 4:33, in the synagogue there was a man which had a spirit of an unclean devil, and cried out with a loud voice. So we see that the demons are unclean, and the word unclean in the original language, akathartos, it literally means dirty with sin. Dirt is a picture of sin, and cleanliness is a picture of being righteous. So they're unrighteous. They sin. So not only do they do evil things, angels also, they sin. So just to look a little bit at the history of demons, and obviously because the demons are the angels of Satan, it's closely tied with the history of Satan. And Satan, as we know, He was a murderer from the beginning. John 8:44. Satan was a murderer. He's a liar and the father of it. But he was from the beginning. And we see and we know from the Garden of Eden in Genesis 3 that Satan was there as a serpent tempting Eve. And we see Isaiah 14 here that due to it was his pride. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. In other words, he wanted to take rulership over the stars of God. And we saw that the stars are really angels. And I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Satan is prideful. He wanted the glory. He wants to rule over the angels. And we know that his tail, Satan's tail, symbolically cast down a third, a minority, but a substantial minority of all angels. And again, we see in Jude 1:6 that the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he's reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. So the demons are under darkness. They have limited power. They have no light of the gospel. They're still a messenger. They can still affect people on the earth, but they're in chains. They have no access any longer to heaven. They're trapped into their darkness of not having the true gospel of Christ. Okay, so we look in the Old Testament at demons, and demons are hardly talked about at all in the Old Testament. There's only just very few verses that talk about evil spirits and lying spirits. We see that Saul, and God was in control of all these fallen angels or demons, but the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. God allowed an evil spirit to come into Saul because Saul was not one of God's people. He was not one of the elect. He was a symbol for all those that are prideful and want to have salvation in their own works. Also, we see evil King Ahab, that the Lord has put a lying spirit in the mouth of all of your prophets, King Ahab's prophets, and the Lord has spoken evil concerning thee. So God has sovereign control over everything, and he allowed these evil spirits and these lying spirits to influence two of the evil kings of Israel. Okay, so there's very little discussion in the Old Testament about demons. There's a lot of discussion about the good angels, but not the demons. And we see, though, before the advent of Christ, and we look at the book of Revelation, that Satan cast down his angels to the heaven. And we'll just look at Revelation 12 here, and this is right before the first advent of Christ. There appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, which is Satan, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, which are the angels, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And this child is Jesus Christ, because we see in verse 5, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, clearly referring to Jesus Christ. So right before the advent of Christ, Satan swept down a third of the angels to earth. So where in the Old Testament we didn't really see much discussion at all about the bad angels or demons, but now they're down on earth, and we're going to see a lot of discussion in the New Testament about the demons. Okay, and so demon possession at the time of Jesus and the apostles, it's very prevalent in the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the book of Acts, that we find discussion about demons, demon possession. And we're not going to go through all these examples, but all these demonic possessions of people resulted in their illness, their sickness, violent outbursts, being very, very strong. They could overpower people. For example, the sons of Sceva, an evil spirit overpowered 7 sons of Sceva because they had great strength. So we see that in the time of Christ and the apostles, we definitely see demon possession taking place, and we see that they were cast out in these examples. And we're going to look next time at more at this demon possession at the time of Christ and the apostles. And what does it mean to cast out a demon? And is that gift still available today? So just in summary, we learned in this lesson, demons are fallen angels. They're malevolent spirits. They're evil and sinful. They're subordinate to Satan. They're used in the Old Testament as evil and lying spirits, but very sparingly used. Very little discussion in the Old Testament. But however, we see the demons were cast to the earth just before the advent of Christ. So in the next part, we're going to look at demon possession and its spiritual meaning. And then you see in part 16, we're going to look at demon possession today. What is going on today with the demons? What are they up to?